Assalamu alaikum, Shalawama, Islam to all the Moors. I'm Dr. Yasapa. Welcome to the free Astro-Theology course. Our textbook is the Astrology of the Old Testament. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me show it. The Astrology of the Old Testament, or the Lost Word Regained, published in 1892 by Carl Anderson. Okay, so we are on the topic of Virgo, which in ancient times was the first zodiac sign. So not Aries, it was Virgo. Okay? In ancient times. So, I think 2 classes ago, we discussed Virgo coming out of The Gospel in the Stars by Joseph A. Seiss, published in 1882. We covered the sign of Virgo, Virgo the Virgin, on page 19 and page 20 of the Virgin's Sun. Okay, so we're going to stop there and move over to our next supplemental, which is E.W. Berlinger, The Witness of the Stars. The heavens declare the glory of capital G-O-D, Psalms 19, verse 1. Okay, this is our second supplemental, all right? So I'm not sure if I put the link to this book, y'all. So you might have to go to, I think it's archives.org, or just Google search free PDF and then the book title, Witness of the Stars, free PDF. Okay, so E.W. Berlinger, The Witness of the Stars. And then at the bottom you'll see the heavens declare the glory of capital G-O-D. That's coming from Psalms 19, verse 1. And of course, the heavens, so that would be the heavenly bodies. Declare the glory, that's shine. Okay, that's shine, that's electromagnetic energy of capital G-O-D. This is supposed to be the S-U-N sun, discounting all of the other meanings associated with that. And then, of course, you get the Psalms chapter 19, verse 1. So 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 1 is 11. That gives you the 2 pillars of the heavens, the vernal equinox and the fall equinox, right? That gives you the vernal equinox, which is covenant of work or covenant of labor, and then the fall equinox, which is the covenant of grace, all right, the covenant of grace, all right? So we're right there at Virgo. In ancient times, it was Virgo Scorpio. There was no Libra, okay? Libra was not inserted until after, or at rather, the fall of man, at the fall of man. So that's where we are. That's the title page, okay? So now let's go over to chapter 1, book 1, which is Virgo. Okay, let me make sure I'm where I need to be. If I can find the PDF, y'all, or if I get time, if I remember, I'll post it. All right. Sorry. All right, the first book. What page is this? Unfortunately, there's no page number. So we'll do the best we can, okay? So chapter 1, the sign Virgo, the promised seed of the woman. All right, so this is the first book, the Redeemer, his first coming, the sufferings of Christ. Now, why is it the sufferings of Christ? So when we look at this in nature, the S-U-N sun is going into each zodiac sign, fully clothing itself or taking on the fully taking on the attributes and characteristics of each zodiac sign. All right, so this is the sun as it goes through, through, and out of each zodiac sign. That's the sun going about doing his Father's will, doing his Father's work. Okay, and it's the cycle of life and death. The cycle of rebirth or birth, maturation, decline, death and deterioration. And then, of course, any type of vegetation, any living thing that decomposes, the decomposed material will be used as nutrients for the next generation or ongoing generation of plant life, okay? And then the animals are going to feed off of that, all right? And of course, man feeds off of the vegetation, some people off of animals, all right? So that's what's happening here. So that's where we get the sufferings of the Christ, as the Christ go through the 12 labors with the story of Hercules, or go in and out of each zodiac sign doing the will of his Father. He gets humiliated, or the S-U-N Son, who is the anthropomorphized JC the Christ figure in the mythological, or the some people call historic, or think of it as a historical story. He gets humiliated, right? The Son of God, the S-O-N Son of God, gets humiliated by those evildoers, right? He gets spit on, slapped in the face, and ultimately put on a cross or a torture stake, however you look at it. That has to do with the sun at the summer solstice falling. Okay, so from December 22nd, from June 22nd to the 25th, the sun is said to be moving horizontally, not increasing or decreasing in altitude. And then on December 25th at exactly 12 midnight, December 24th, so the very first second of December 25th, the sun starts to fall. It starts to decline in elevation. It starts to fall toward the southern hemisphere. It starts to fall south. And there's nothing that the sun can do about it. It cannot be stopped. Okay? Now, the days are going to become shorter and the nights are longer. The days are going to become shorter and the nights are longer. Light represents good. Dark represents evil. That's according to the story. So now the darkness is prevailing over the light. The bad is prevailing over the good. The wicked, the evil, is prevailing over the good. Y'all see it? So Christ, the S-U-N Son, takes on the title of Christ at the summer solstice. So Christ is now being humiliated by the darkness, and there's nothing he can do about it but to accept the humiliation, right? So there's nothing that Christ could do when he was being humiliated by the Jews. Everybody remembers that story, right? He had to do the will of his Father. To save mankind, right? To save, I specifically said mankind, not man. Because Christianity, these religions, these counterfeit religions were given to the hybrids, not to the autochthonous Moors. So the S-U-N Son will or must die on December 22nd, and stay dead for 3 days. As above, so below. As below, so above. So at the solstitial points, the sun is dead for 3 days because it's not casting a shadow at what? On December 25th, let me keep it simple. On December 25th, it doesn't, December 22nd, 3rd, at this, from December 22nd through the 25th, the very first second of December 25th, There's no shadow cast on the sundial. That's 3 days. So our ancestors, because they had a concrete paradigm, they said that the sun was dead for 3 days. And then that very first second of December 25th, a full 1 degree shadow is cast on the sundial. So now the sun is said to what? Been born. Either a new sun sun is born, or the sun was resurrected or born again. Of course, that takes place again in the spring for the Christians, right? For Easter, the resurrection of the Christ. So let's continue with the story from the summer solstice. So the sun is falling, the nights are becoming longer than the days. Okay, and then at the fall or autumn equinox, we have 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night. That's justice. That's the concrete origin of the abstract word justice. 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of night. There's nothing more just than that. Right? You can use your 12 hours of daylight however you want. And then when the sun crosses below, this is the celestial equator, when the sun crosses below the celestial equator, now Christ is crucified. And in the Christian iconography, we see Christ on the cross with Mary, his mother Mary, standing next to him. In other words, what we see is the sun crossing below the celestial equator on September 22nd, thereabout. Y'all see it? And the constellation Virgo right there. Right there. Okay, everyone understands that? Everyone sees it? That was remixed into the mythological gospel story where JC is on a cross and his mother Mary is standing next to him. Okay, now there's another picture of JC on the cross, but his mother Mary is not standing next to him. That's for the spring or vernal equinox, or what the Jewish people call the Passover. Okay, y'all? So there are 2 resurrections, one in Revelation, but let's let that go. But anyway, everybody understands the suffering of the Christ, right? That's the point I want you to understand. The sufferings of the Christ. Christ gets crucified, and then Christ goes to hell for 3 days when the sun is at the winter solstice. All right? Okay. Anyway, let's get into it. So the first book, the Redeemer, his first coming, quote unquote, the sufferings of Christ. And y'all should take note that there is a difference between Jesus and Christ. Okay, here we go. The first book is occupied with the person of the coming one. It covers the whole ground, and including the conflict and victory of the promised seed. Now remember, the seed has reference to Virgo with her branch in the hand, the branch with the ear or of corn or wheat. Y'all remember that? We covered. If you don't remember that, go back to the Gospel in the Stars. Okay, that information is in the Gospel in the Stars. You should really make sure, you don't have to memorize it, but just know where you can find it. Okay, that's on page 20. All right, page 20, middle paragraph. All right, that's where you can find that information. So it covers the whole ground and includes the conflict and victory of the promised seed. Seed of wheat. Okay, the seed of wheat. Y'all should correlate that with the parable of the wheat. Okay, the wheat and the thorns, the promised seed, but with special emphasis on his coming. The book opens with the promise of his coming. It's a promise, right? The sun will continue going through the Maserat forever and ever and ever, 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 forever, ever, ever. Okay? It will never stop. So the promised seed, but with special emphasis on his coming. Yeah, he's coming to the east gate. Okay, he's coming to Aries, which is for the Jews' Passover. Okay, which is for the Christians. That's going to mark the Lord's evening meal and then Easter, right? I think it's 1 week after the spring or the vernal equinox is Easter. I don't remember exactly, but anyway, y'all get the point. The book opens with the promise coming. Okay, the promise coming, the end of winter and the beginning of spring. Okay, end of winter, sun passing over, the sun passing over the celestial equator. Usually around March 22nd. You'll see that in most books. March 22nd, sometimes you see 21/20. All right? And in Christian iconography, you're going to see a picture of Jesus without his mother, Jesus on the cross. That's a vernal or spring equinox. Okay? So yeah, Christ promised he would come again to get rid of the winter. Right? The cold, darkness, the death of winter. Okay, and the rebirth or the resurrection of the ongoing generations of vegetation, which happens at the first day of spring. Okay, and the book closes with the dragon cast down from heaven. So that'll be fun learning about the dragon, right? Chapter 1, the sign Virgo, the promised seed of the woman. So unfortunately, we don't have a good picture, but let me put it up here so y'all can see it. Keep in mind, this book was published in was it 1882, y'all? I forgot. But anyway, you see Virgo, right? When was this book published? So you can imagine how many times it's been copied. 1893. Okay, it's published in 1893. Y'all see it? Over here. So here we go. I need to point this out. So here is, y'all see that? The wheat, I think, or is that the wheat? And here's the brightest star. Y'all see it? We're gonna get into that. I'm gonna let the author talk about this, but y'all see that? So this is having reference to when Jesus calls himself the seed or the wheat, okay? Born of a virgin, all right? So there we go, the bright star, the brightest star in Virgo. Everybody see it? All right. Oh, okay. So now check this out. This little line here, that oval line, that's the ecliptic. Y'all, the screen is reversed from what I'm looking at. So this line right here, that's the ecliptic. So you see Virgo is rising above the ecliptic. Do y'all see that? So this is the age of Virgo. So this must be, I would think this is March 22nd, the first day of spring. And Virgo has just or they had just entered the zodiacal age of Virgo. So when you look to the east, if you're between, let's say you're at the equator, 0 degrees, or the Tropic of Capricorn, or within the coffee belt. Let's keep it simple. If you're within the coffee belt, which is between 23.5 degrees north, which is the Tropic of Cancer, and 23.5 degrees south, which is the Tropic of Capricorn. So if you're there on the first day of spring, that first day that's going to usher in the first day of spring, if you're there between, let's say, 5 and 6 in the morning, whatever time the sun is going to come up, right? If you're looking right toward the east, you're going to see Virgo at the horizon. And that's telling you that the zodiacal age is Virgo. Okay? But anyway, let's keep it moving. I hope everyone got something out of this picture. That's how you can tell what zodiacal age we are in, which is what I just explained to you. Okay? Here is the commencement of all prophecy in Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. Spoken to the serpent, quote, I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. This is the prophetic announcement which the revelation in the heavens and in the book is designed to unfold and develop. So that's the story. The whole thing is about this story, right? This enmity between the woman and her seed and the seed of the devil. Okay? So the woman will bruise the snake's head, but the snake will bruise his heel, her promised seed heel. This is the prophetic announcement which the revelation in the heavens and in the book is designed to unfold and develop. That's the first book, okay, he's talking about. It lies at the root of all the ancient traditions and mythologies. So in other words, if you understand this story that we just mentioned, and you can see it in the ancient mythologies, then you can understand all of the ancient traditions. He says it here. It lies at the root of all ancient traditions and mythology. So all you need to do is understand the story and be able to identify it. All right? He continues, which are simply the perversion and corruption of primitive truth. Of primitive truth. What did he just tell you? He just told you their strategy. He just told you their strategy. He just told you that the ancient traditions have been perverted and corrupted by mixing in this story about the woman and the snake and her seed. He just told you what they did and how to reverse engineer it. Okay, y'all? He said it, not me. I'm just bringing it to your attention. Now you know what to do. He continues. So in other words, if you can identify that story in the ancient traditions and mythologies, you can remove the story and arrive at or be able to determine the truth, the ancient truth. He says primitive. By primitive, he's talking about the autochthonous Moors. You can arrive back at your heritage. Okay? Virgo is represented as a woman with a branch in her right hand and some ears of corn in her left hand. Now that's very interesting, right? Because even today, a lot of people still will say corn is indigenous to the Americas. Now, of course, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima says that it's not. Y'all work with it. Y'all work with it, okay? If it's indigenous to the Americas, one, it tells you the orientation. America could not be the New World. And then secondly, it's also going to tell you where Kemet or where Egypt is. Ancient Egypt, right? Well, if you know where that is, it's going to tell you where the ancient Israelites were. But that messes up the whole game that they're running in religion and what's happening over in East Africa right now. It messes up everything, y'all, because it's not just those political events. It's the state of mind that they put everyone in. All right? It's the spell that they have you in, the brainwashing. Because almost all the world, especially in the West, are looking for end time prophecies. And they're looking for men and women, priests, pastors, pimps, and hoes, who got a good explanation or interpretation of world events and how it matches up with Bible end time prophecy. Okay? So in other words, it's a mechanism for the for those who oppress us to scare you to death and get you to do and get you to think whatever they want you to do and think. It's a method of brain control. And you think that all of these ideas and behaviors are yours, but they are absolutely not. This is the Hermetic law of mental gender at work. This is hypnosis. This is subtle suggestion to cause you to be someone and to think things that you are not. All right? But anyway, don't take my word for it. Study up on the Hermetic law of gender. All right, and this is especially true, y'all, this brainwashing for Moors in North America. Also in the other Africa. Yeah, it's just not the religious hustle that they got us with, but it's the way the whole society is built. The whole educational system, all of the institutions in society that have to do, let's say with the quote unquote, let me say denationalized Moors, or the blacks and colors and the Latinos and Negroes and whatever it is you are called in North America. All of the institutions are designed, and I'm talking from a recent video that I came across by Dr. Amos Wilson. And he makes a point that all the institutions are designed to do the opposite of what they claim or promote themselves to do. For example, let's say the welfare department is really in the business of keeping people poor. Well, that's them using what? That's them using the Hermetic law of mental gender. They're using the Hermetic law of the great law of opposites, the law of polarity, and vibration, law of vibration. That's just what I see off the top, without even doing any analysis. I see those three. Okay, in that video, he says that if I remember correctly, the correctional system actually creates criminals, right? It actually creates criminals, and that's what they're intended to do. But once you know this, now you can neutralize its effect. All right, and he, it's amazing when I heard him deliver that lecture, it blew me away. Blew me away. Y'all got to listen to it. Maybe next video I'll post the links. Maybe next video I'll post the links. But it is the clearest, easiest to understand lecture I've ever heard that plainly explains the law of mental gender, especially the cuckoo egg part, right? But also, actually, you can see rhythm in there too. You can see the Hermetic Law of rhythm in there too. But anyway, let's keep it moving. Where am I? So Virgo is represented as a woman with a branch in her right hand and some ears of corn in her left hand. So y'all should get a book by the brother passed away not recently, but I guess a few years ago, by Dr. David Imhotep, called The First Americans Were Black. I think there are two editions of it. And then there's another book I used to enjoy quite a bit, When Rocks Cry Out. When Rocks Cry Out. And then, of course, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, his book that came before Columbus. And the guy, is it Ivan Van Woot now, y'all? Ivan Van Woot now? But now there's a lot of stuff that you can get on this topic about the presence of the Moors in the Americas, okay? It continues, thus giving a twofold testimony of the coming one. So it's a branch in her right hand and some ears of corn in her left hand. That's the twofold testimony, okay? The name of this sign in the Hebrew is Bethulah. Bethulah, 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 which means a virgin, And in the Arabic, a branch. So Bethulah means in Arabic, a branch. The virgin with a branch. The two words are connected, as in Latin, Virgo, which means a virgin, and Virga, which means a branch. And it has here Vulgate Isaiah chapter 11, verse 1. Another name is Sun Bull, Sunbul, Arabic, an ear of corn. So if that's what it means in Arabic, and then we'd have to say that the corn is indigenous. Well, let me retract that. But y'all think about this. Another name is Sun Bull, which is Arabic, and it means an ear of corn. So that wipes out any debate about whether it was corn or wheat, because if I remember correctly in the Strong's lexicon, it's so ambiguous as to whether it meant corn or wheat. And I notice that that's something that that's common, or that's a common technique amongst those, what do you call them, lexiconographers, these people who make dictionaries and lexicons and all of that. When they don't want to come out and admit something, or if they don't want information out, they will make it very ambiguous. Or they'll just outright not write it. And you have to go to another source to see it. Okay? But a common technique is to make things ambiguous. Okay? And that keeps people talking and wondering. It makes room for an argument. And if you can get people to argue and debate, you can divide them and conquer them. Okay, you can keep the people separated. Just on little issues. Y'all won't believe, that these religious people will not deal with each other just because they have a different view on something as small as this, whether it was corn or wheat. So no, you can't talk with them, you can't deal with them. They don't have our doctrine. Some stupid stuff like that. But anyway, let's keep it moving. In Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, she is presented only as a woman. But in later prophecies, her nationality is defined as being of the stock of Israel, of the stock of Isis, Ra, and El, the seed of Abraham, the line of David. And further, she is to be a virgin. There are two prominent prophecies of her and her seed. One is connected with the first coming in incarnation, that's Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14, which was quoted in Matthew chapter 1, verse 23. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel, or Emmanuel. Emmanuel. Okay, so El, remember? El, rays of light, messengers. Okay? Next paragraph. The other is connected with his second coming, leaping over the sufferings and this present interval of his rejection. So they skip over the sufferings, right? And this present interval of his rejection, and looking forward to his coming in glory and judgment. Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6 and 7, quoted in Luke chapter 2, verse 11, and chapter 1, verse 32 and 33. So let me read these, okay? Quote unquote. For unto us a child is born, unto us an S-O-N son is given. Then there's a footnote. The footnote reads, here, the fact of his humiliation, together with his long period of his rejection, is leaped over, and the prophecy passes on at once, over at least a period of 1,893 years, to this quote-unquote glory which should follow. Well, he makes a good point. Why is that? It continues. And the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government there shall be no end, and upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with justice and judgment. From henceforth, even forever, the zeal of the capital Lord of hosts will perform this. So y'all, as I read that, what I was thinking, even though these verses are applied to Christ, there are there's a Jewish doctrine related to this, and this does not point to Christ in the Jewish doctrine. But I'm not going to get into the doctrine because I don't like to deal with doctrines anymore. All right? So there's some finessing. According to the Jews, there's some finessing. There's some Jeremiah 8:8 stuff happening here. Okay? And this is not pointing to a New Testament JC, the Christ figure, at all. Okay, but y'all can ask somebody else about those doctrines, all right? Ask your Moreh or your Moshe, your general, captain, elder, rabbi, okay? They should be able to answer this question. But I don't deal with the doctrines anymore. It is difficult to separate the virgin and her seed in the prophecy. And so here we have first the sign Virgo, where the name points to her as the prominent subject, while in the first of the three constellations of this sign, where the woman appears again, the name Coma, C-O-M-A, points to the child as the great subject. All right. Virgo contains 110 stars. Specifically, one of the first magnitude, one of the six of the third. So again, there's 1 star of the first magnitude, there are 6 stars of the third magnitude, 10 stars of the fourth, etc., so on and so forth. Aratus. Thus sang of them. Thus sang of those 110 stars, quote unquote. Beneath boots, feet, the virgin seek. Okay, Boots is a constellation. Okay, but we're going to get into that, who Boots is. Beneath Boots' feet, the virgin sink. Who carries in her hand a glittering spike? Over her shoulder, there reveals a star in the right wing, superlatively bright. It rolls beneath the tail and may compare with the light stars that deck the greater bear. Upon her shoulder, now y'all know the bear, the greater bear, that's a constellation, okay? Upon her shoulder, one bright star is born. One clasps the circling girdle of her loins, one at her bending knee, and another in her hand glitters that bright and golden ear of corn. Okay, that's the one that's in her hand. All right. Thus the brightest star in Virgo is, and it looks like a typo. I like to point out typos sometimes. Sometimes I'm amazed that the typo is there, unless I missed something. Let me see if there's a footnote, y'all. Hold on. Let me see. Let me make sure I understand it. So thus the brightest star in Virgo, A, has an ancient name, handed down to us in all the star maps, in which the Hebrew word Samek is preserved. Let me search for this A, okay? Oh, A, so alpha. Okay, here's a footnote. So it's not a typo. The stars are known by Greek letters and sometimes by numbers, etc. Alpha, which is that A we saw, y'all, denotes a star of the first magnitude. Beta, B, a star of the second magnitude, and so on. This plan was originated by Bayer in his Anometria in 1603. The star Alpha, as seen in the new Great Equatorial Telescope, recently set up at Greenwich, this was in 1893, y'all, is now discovered to be really a double star, though it had heretofore always appeared to be one. Okay? I guess he's just saying that's why it's so bright. I'm trying to see if I want to go into any of these images. Let me show you boots. The story of boots, y'all, is interesting. Hold on. Oh, excuse me. One moment. Y'all know what's interesting? When you are in a foreign country, or when you've traveled so much, you start to forget that you don't look like the local people. And you see the local people, and they, like for example, when you look at most people, when they look at Asians, they look different, right? But having been in Asia so long, when you look at them, they no longer look different. But my point, boots. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, so Boots. Boots is a constellation in the northern sky located between 0 and plus 60 degrees declination and 13 and 16 hours of right ascension on the celestial sphere. Let's see. Boots is the 13th largest. Hold on, y'all. Boots is the 13th largest constellation in the night sky and contains one of the brightest stars in the sky, which is Arcturus. Okay, so I think after this next part, I'm going to leave this. Boots is an ancient Greek word that roughly translates as the ox driver or herdsman. So y'all already know where this is going. This is going to Joseph, right? This is going to Joseph, Mary's husband Joseph. The herdsman can be seen driving his great plow, the Big Dipper. So the Big Dipper is Boots' great plow, in a great circle around the North Star, Polaris. The two dots over the second quote-unquote O indicates that both quote-unquote the O and the S should be pronounced separately as boots. I'll show y'all that. As bootez, maybe bootez. Maybe it's pronounced bootez. So y'all stop this on the replay because I want to keep going, okay? It's pronounced bootez. Not boots, but bootez. It is one of the 48 constellations cataloged by the astronomy Ptolemy in the 2nd century. So our ancestors only acknowledged 48 constellations, y'all. All right, so let's let it go at that. Let's take a look at some images. So takeaway is this is gonna be Joseph, right, y'all? This is gonna be Joseph. Pause it on the replay. So that's Boots and his great plow, the Big Dipper. Give me 1 second. Oh, here we are. Boots. Okay. Boots. Let's see if we get a better one. Y'all can see the bright star Arcturus. Pause it on the replay. So remember the what we're reading in the book says, quote unquote, Aratus thus sings of them. That's 110 stars that makes up Virgo. Quote unquote, beneath Boots' feet, the Virgin seek. So I'm trying to find a picture of that. And unfortunately, maybe this is it. No, hold on. No. Wait 1 second. Here's another image of Boots, but that's not what I want. I want Boots with Virgo. That's what I'm looking for. Give me 1 second, y'all. Bootes and Virgo. Here we go. Here we are, y'all. There we are. At the top is Boots. Below Boots' foot rather, that's Virgo. And then that's Leo the lion, okay? Everybody see it? All right. Let me blow it up so y'all can see. Take a look at Boots' foot. Take a look at the circle, what's in Virgo's hand. Y'all see the branch? Y'all see it, the corn? Everybody see it? All right. Okay, so let's keep going. So the brightest star in Virgo has an ancient name handed down to us in all the star maps. We just looked at a star map in which the Hebrew word, this is of course biblical Hebrew, so this is not the ancient word at all. And here again, y'all, here again is another reason why we need to have our own book of the law. Because a Jewish person, if you want to talk about the subject, the Jewish person is going to tell you or can tell you, well, what do you know? You don't speak Hebrew. And he has a point. you don't know anything about biblical Hebrew. So they control the narrative. They can tell you a rabbi is more competent about what it says than you because you don't know anything about the biblical Hebrew language. But if we have our own language, which is Ancient Ibaryath, or some people call it Canaanite Phoenician or Phoenician Canaanite, whatever you want to call it, and we produce, me as the author, our own book in the Ancient Ibaryath, well, you remove that power from them. You neutralize them. Now you can tell them, you don't know anything about it. But unless and until that happens, you are in a weak position. And why is that? Why is that? Well, talked about it earlier. The Hermetic Law of mental gender. Y'all under a spell. A strong spell. And it's so strong that you won't even help yourself. You know, it's a shame that, hold on. All of you Hebrew Israelites and Christians, all of you blacks and others, Moors, should support the project for me to rewrite the Book of the Law in Ancient Ibaryath. Everybody should be supporting it. It should be obvious as to why we need to have our own Book of the Law. It should be absolutely obvious. Not just to restore the astrology and the natural laws, but for other reasons. This should be self-evident. But most of you cannot see it because of who you are, which is not who you are. But you're brainwashed, whether you want to accept that or not. If you have not gone through the Kabbalion, studied up, understand the law of mental gender, then you shouldn't talk on the topic in terms of saying no, in terms of being negative about it, because you don't have any idea what you're talking about, right? Now, there's a video by Dr. Amos Wilson. I posted it in the Telegram group. Y'all should watch that. Y'all should watch it because he tells you, and I believe the brother is a psychologist or a psychiatrist, a PhD or an MD. But either way, he knows exactly what he's talking about, and he explains how, let's say, the mechanism of the brainwashing that they're using. Okay? So when you listen to him speak and analyze it through the law of mental gender, it becomes very powerful for you. Because now once you see it, you can deconstruct it. You can reverse engineer it. You know, let alone making sure that it's not affecting you. Actually, depending on where you're at, the first thing you do is make sure it's no longer affecting you, and you protect your heirs so that they won't be brainwashed and damaged and living their life to keep the hybrid in power and not even realizing that their life has been designed, engineered to destroy them and to preserve and expand the system that oppresses them. But anyway, the brother Amos Wilson, I can't say enough about that lecture that he gave. All right? So the only reason why anybody would not support this, you can support through liking, through sharing, you can support through fiat. There's lots of ways you can support If you want to support through fiat, the link to my Patreon and PayPal are in the description area of this video, or you can support through my on my website, right? There's a donation page, or you can buy my books, but don't buy them off my website because I'm still locked out. You have to buy them on Amazon. But the only way our people don't support this is because of their state of mind. Okay, their state of mind. They're thinking and living. When you live, that means your culture, your traditions, your religion, your music, all of this stuff has been designed to destroy you and empower your oppressor. But don't say it's not true if you have not studied it. Okay? Because if you say, oh, that's not true, you're just talking, that means you're not thinking, you're reacting emotionally. And we know that people don't make good decisions when it's based on emotion. Right? You don't analyze things well when it's coming from emotion. Okay? So I'm not being offensive. I'm just telling you what it is. All right? But anyway, let's keep it moving. We need to have our own book of the law, period. And remember, it is the Judeo-Christian legal system. So they're using principles out of the book of the law that you see in all the other books, including the New Testament. You heard? So we need our own book of the law. And it becomes authoritative. But until you start being who you are, as Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, be yourself, unless and until you get there and fully let that religion go. I'm talking about all the religions. Fully let it go, meaning that you're no longer afraid. When you're pressured, when you're put in a position where you may be afraid or you feel like you're going to lose something, you're not going to react like a nigga or a Christian or a Muslim. And y'all know how that's going to be. All right? But anyway, let's keep it moving. So this star, it says, in which the Hebrew word shemesh is preserved. It is called in Arabic al-Zemek, which means the branch. This star is in the ear of corn, which she holds in her left hand. Hence, the star has a modern Latin name, which has almost superseded the ancient one, spica, which means an ear of corn. So all of y'all who argue, about whether it was corn or wheat, when you look at the word in the other languages, you see corn. All right, regardless of Strong's being ambiguous on that. So here's a spica. Y'all see it in her hand. Y'all might also notice the wings that her wings, so showing that she's a hybrid. All right. So if Virgo is a hybrid, Virgo has wings, and then her son, wouldn't her son also have to be a hybrid simply because his mother is a hybrid? Okay, I mean, if you accept the remix, right? Now, of course, we're dealing with celestial bodies, so the son will not have a father because we're not dealing with flesh, we're dealing with celestial bodies. But the remix of the story is what I'm talking about. Okay, y'all? So the author continues. The little boy is curious about me, but he's shy. So, okay, y'all, let's pick it back up. But this hides the great truth revealed by its name, Al-Zamak. It foretold the coming of him. So the Spica, that star in the hand we just looked at, foretold the coming of him who should bear this name. The same divine inspiration has, in the written word, 4 times connected it with him. So the divine inspiration, what the heck is that? Is that the text? So I'm going to roll with the text. Okay, because I see text on paper. I don't see any supernatural beings. So I take a literary approach to all documents. Why? Because I'm not going to allow myself to be transported into a narrative. Because these narratives, that y'all should be thinking, the Hermetic Law of mental gender. These narratives, when you allow yourself to be transported into the narrative transportation, right? What's the end result? You begin to live according to that story. Live and think according to that story. Well, that's a Hermetic Law of mental gender. So I stop it in its tracks. I keep it literal. It foretold the coming of him who should bear this name. This same divine inspiration has, in the written word, 4 times connected it with him. There are 20 Hebrew words translated quote-unquote branch. There are 20 Hebrew words translated quote-unquote branch. But only one of them, Shemek, is used exclusively of the Messiah. That doesn't mean anything unless you give it context. Doesn't mean a thing. What are the details? What's the context? Or I mean, at least give us the nuance and meaning if there is one. Okay? Only one of them is used exclusively of the Messiah. And this word only 4 times. So this word is used 4 times. It appears to me exclusively of the Messiah. Quoting Jeremiah 33. Wow, isn't that something? Y'all think that's a coincidence? Jeremiah 33. Remember, there are only 3 degrees in ancient Freemasonry. I mean, not Freemasonry, but in ancient Masonry. Only 3. The mother, well, Mercury, the sun, and the moon. The stars, sun, and moon. The other 30 degrees, as we learn, and I'm not going to go through it, but I remember the page number. The page is page 11. Now, is that a coincidence? It's on page 11? The vernal, which represents the 2 covenants, the covenant of work and labor and the covenant of grace. We learn about that in the Gospel in the Stars by Sykes. Those 30 extra degrees were added to promote the veneration or the worship of Virgo, the Virgin Mary. Okay? Look at page 11. Y'all will find that information. Or go back and watch I think I did it 2 videos ago. So Jeremiah 33. As in 33 degrees of Freemasonry. As in 30 degrees, 1 degree for a day. And the sun sun itself, its width taking about 3 degrees. So from the time the sun enters on day 1, that's 1 degree, to the time the sun exits a zodiac sign, that's 30, plus the width of the sun, that's 33 degrees. 33 degrees, hence 33 degrees of Freemasonry. That 30 degrees was thrown in there. All right? So 33 degrees. All right? So Jeremiah 33, verse 15. Wow. 1 and 5 and 6. 1 and 5 and 6. So now you got 3. You got 3 and 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. 1 plus 5 is 6. Now you got 6, 6. Now y'all know that 6, 6, that this is representing perfect rulership. The perfect man, rather. The perfect man. 6, the perfect man. 3 plus 3 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. Plus 1 is 7. Plus 5 is 12. So that's 12 zodiac signs. Okay, if you want, you can say plus the sun. That's 13. That takes you to perfect rulership. Right there. What's your name? What do you have? What's that? Rice cracker? Do you like it? Hold on, yeah. He's a cute little guy. Okay, let's keep it going. So 3 plus 3, 6, 7, 12. Yeah. Okay, so Jeremiah 33 verse 5, being only a repetition of Jeremiah 23.5, 23 verse 5. All right, Jeremiah 23 verse 5. Each of these further connects him with one special account of him given in the Gospels. But let me check out these verses, y'all. I'm curious. Jeremiah 33, hold on. You just can't make this stuff up with these verses, right? You can see that these verses, there's no mistake why they made this Jeremiah 33 verse 15, right? So Jeremiah 33 verse 15, in those days and at that time I will cause to sprout. Hold on. Let me do KJV, since most of y'all like KJV. So Jeremiah 33 verse 15 reads, in those days and at that time will I cause the branch, that's the branch in Virgos, is it her left hand, y'all, or her right hand? That's the spica, right? The one with the spica. That I will cause the branch of righteousness to grow up unto David, and he shall execute judgment and righteousness in the land. Now, of course, there is a Jewish doctrine that says that was talking about events that would happen at that time when it was written, not in a future time having to do with some new Messiah. Okay, y'all know who what's her name? Man. What is her name? Man, I haven't spoke to her in years. I can't believe I can't remember her name. Brandon, I'm talking about your mother-in-law. It takes her, Brandon. It takes your mother-in-law to break this down. in fact, Brandon, ask your mother-in-law if she's willing to come on and go through these verses having to do or that are alleged to be prophetic of JC the Christ figure. Ask her to come on and do it. See if she's willing to do it. Y'all got to hear. Y'all got to hear. She's very good. And then you know what? If there's any Christian or any Hebrew Israelite who wants to come on the platform and give their presentation or breakdown, whatever you want to call it, of these verses that prophesy the Messiah, JC, the Christ figure, y'all welcome to come on. And that would be wonderful. Let's see. Adrana. Assalamu alaikum. Dr. Yasapa Shalawama and greetings. Same to you. What we used to say when I was younger, we used to say ditto. Assalamu alaikum and Shalawama, Adrana. Absolutely teach brother supporting. Please write the book. We are beyond the time for such. Know thyself, study and approve. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, Adrana, I'm trying to think how to say that when the person knows, they'll look back and they'll say, I can't believe that I was gullible enough to go for that, right? You look back and I don't have the words to express what I want to say. But when you see it, and then you wonder how is it that you didn't see it? Right? How is it that you did not see that you had been manipulated, brainwashed, and abused? Not only intellectually, but emotionally. Y'all know what goes on in these churches, mosques, temples, etc. Right? Man, Brandon, hold on. Let me send Brandon anyone is welcome, whether you're Hebrew Israelite or Christian or whatever. It doesn't matter. You could be Jewish. You could be whatever. You're welcome to come on. You can be a Moor. You're welcome to come on and present your take on these verses. Let me send Brandon a message. Give me a second, y'all. Let me send Brandon. I feel bad that I don't remember her name, but we haven't spoken in so long. But it'll come to me. It'll come to me. Hold on. Well, it takes her to deliver that, y'all.
Cái hôm mà tiền bệnh có mà cái hôm tiền á là không đi được, có một lần là Kim Anh đi thôi, và một lần đó là có chủ tịch cái bạn chị này không nữ, không phải Thiên Trang thì nhiều lần phí em có số không là có lần mà mình tổ chức là có thứ
Man, it's at the tip of my tongue too. It's at the tip of my tongue. I'm going to remember it soon. Hold on. Anybody who wants to come on, y'all welcome to it. And I'm not going to interrupt or interfere or anything like that. That's not who I am. It's not my style. At most, I might ask questions to clarify. But, I wouldn't challenge you, anything like that. I don't even think it's necessary. I want to do it so that the audience, so that the people can see an expert opinion on the topic. And then people can do whatever they want to do. But at least we can have the information available to the people. Okay, let's keep it moving. So one, and you know why this is a big deal too? Because this author says a witness of the stars. In other words, the stars are witnessing, pointing to this JC the Christ figure in the New Testament, right? And also, that appears to be the basic idea in this book too. Okay? The gospel and the stars. All right? So if that ain't working, there's something wrong, right? Okay, let's make it do what it do. 1, Jeremiah 23, verse 5. Quote, "Behold, the days come, saith the capital Lord, that I will raise unto Jesse a righteous branch," i.e. a son, "and a king," all capitalized, branch all capitalized, "shall reign and prosper," end quote. The account of his coming as king is written in the gospel according to Matthew, where the Tetragrammaton YHWH says to Israel, quote unquote, "Behold, thy king," in all capital letters, end quote. All caps. "Behold, thy king." It's in all capital letters. That's coming from Zechariah chapter 9, verse 9. And then Matthew 21, verse 9. I'm trying to think. I'm looking at the all caps. Why is king in all caps? So let me go to. I kind of touched on this a few days ago. Hold on, y'all. Capitus Maximus. Capitus. I think it's Capitus Diminutio Maximus, something like that. Capitus Diminutio Maximus is a term used in Roman law referring to extinguishing, either in whole or in part, a person's former status and legal capacity. That's called stealing your birthright, right? Capitus Diminutio. Diminished, it means diminished capacity, is a term used in Roman law referring to the extinguishing, either in whole or in part. So there's maximum, medium, and then the worst, right? And then the least diminishment. Okay, either in whole or in part of a person's former status and legal capacity in relation to your property, y'all. In relation to your community and your property. That means you become denationalized, you become a stateless person. You become civilly dead. There were 3 changes of state or condition attended with different consequences: maxima, media, and minima. The greatest capacity, which is capitis diminutio maximus. Remember, this is the diminished capacity, or what? The loss of your former status and legal capacity. The loss of your status in your community and the loss of your ability to inherit property. All right? So capitis diminutio maxima, which is the greatest, involved a loss of liberty, citizenship or nationality, and family, e.g. being made a slave or prisoner of war, being made a 14th Amendment citizen, being made non-descendable, being taken out of the fold of the affairs of men, taken out of the fold of government, governmental, meaning somebody else is going to govern your mind. That takes you right back to the Hermetic law of gender, mental gender. Y'all see it? Somebody's going to take your property. They're going to attain you. They're going to escheat you, hit you with bills of attainder. Why? Because you have no nationality. You have no constitutional or treaty protection, so therefore the people can treat you or do to you any which way they choose. And you can't inherit. So you're not going to inherit your birthrights, which are the protections of the Constitution and treaty and the property. Y'all heard? Capitis diminutio minima consisted of a person ceasing to belong to a particular family without loss of liberty or citizenship. In other words, they steal all your property. It says here, capitis diminutio minima consisted of a person ceasing to belong to a particular family. What does that mean? Well, you lose your ability to inherit, right? You're no longer in the family, so that's corruption of the blood. Corruption of the blood. Now you can't inherit anything from anybody. You're no longer in the bloodline. You have corrupted the blood of the covenant. Okay, so you corrupted the blood. I'm giving y'all my opinion. Corrupted the blood of the covenant has to do with the book of the law, which is a book of natural law. So you disrespected, dishonored your ancient foremothers and forefathers. Of course, that's Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. You dishonored them, so you're out. In fact, I think that, let me check this, y'all. Let me go Deuteronomy, maybe it's Deuteronomy 9:5. Let me check it. Let me go to the Bible Hub, okay, y'all? It's either 9:5 or 5:9, I think. Hold on. Yeah. So Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 9. This is how it reads. I'm just going to go to the one just to get us started. New International Version, NIV. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. These are these external gods. These are these religions. right? So, for example, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali told us to give the hybrid their deities back. For I, the capital Lord, your capital God, for I, the Most High, your power, am a jealous power, punishing the children for the sins of the parents to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me. So in other words, y'all, when the blood is corrupted, let's say Tom corrupts the blood. Tom has 3 children. Okay, in other words, he commits a felony. Well, guess what? Now, even his offspring cannot inherit anything. Okay? The line of descent has been broken. The line of bloodline descent has been broken. And Tom can't inherit anything either. New Living Translation. You must not bow down to them or worship them, for I, the Most High, your power, am a jealous power who will not tolerate your affection for any other lowercase gods. So deities or what? Deities or what? Well, you know what? Let me change course here. For a lot of the blacks, y'all know their God is the hybrid. Or connotatively speaking, their God is what? Connotatively speaking, the white man. Oh, white Jesus. But then also, the white man. That's their God. All right? And what? And fiat. And fiat, or alcohol. Or some other vice. Okay? Any of these religions, these are vices. Don't say I'm wrong until you go study the Hermetic Law of Mental Gender. There's an audio book on YouTube. Just go to the Hermetic Law of Mental Gender. I don't know there's a Telegram group, y'all, that I posted these links to. I don't know the number for that Telegram group, but if I'm going to make an effort to post the links to the Kybalion, so y'all can study it, the law of mental gender, and then this video, this lecture, a video, Dr. Amos Wilson. It is the most profound, the most insightful lecture that I've heard on this topic. He's telling you how they do it straight up. Different institutions, including religion. Okay, so don't say what I'm saying is far-fetched or it's not true. It ain't true. No. Study up on it first, then make an intelligent decision. Now, let's keep it going. He says here, remember God, uppercase, lowercase, doesn't matter. You study Strong's, you're going to see that God is what's the word I want? There can be a true or a false. Capital G. with all the different meanings for the word God, like magistrate. Okay, like a magistrate. The one that wears the black robe, who's known to be a worshiper of Zoroaster. And those de facto courtrooms are actually synagogues. And when you come in there, they're trying to get you to consent to accept being surety for the straw or the ens legis, which is a corporate name. And corporations are proper nouns that you capitalize. That you capitalize. Capitis diminutio maxima. Capitis diminutio media and minima. Corporate names. John Doe. Larry Smith. When you get your utility bill, it's in all caps. Maximum loss. Maximum loss of status and birthright. Total loss of your birthright and citizenship. Okay, y'all? Denationalized Moors or Moor subjects are stateless people, refugees in their own land. Well, now let's keep it going. So in the New Living Translation, he continues. He says, "I'm jealous." He says, "I will not tolerate your affection for any other lowercase gods. I lay the sins." In Christianity, sin means debt. I laid the sins, I laid the debt of the parents upon their children. Okay, well, your mother informed on you on the birth certificate, put you in slavery. Okay, so when we have these contracts that delude to slavery, marriage license, gun license, and all of these things where you have forfeited, knowingly or unknowingly, your birthrights, is that worshiping other gods? Or can you somehow construe that to be a corruption of the blood? You consent to trade yours for theirs. I'm asking the question, I'm not saying it. He says here, I laid the sins, I laid the debt of the parents upon their children. The entire family is affected. Even children in the third and fourth, 3 plus 4 is 7, completeness, universal completeness, 7. 7 planets, 5 of which, 7 planets, 5 of which are planets, 2 of which are luminaries. Okay, 7 days of the week, 7 orifices in the face. We go 7, 7. The seven sisters of I know Palladium is not the word, but y'all know what I'm talking about. The 7 stations of the sun. When we go 7, 7, 7, I mean 7 is forever. Universal completeness. To the third and fourth generation. Now y'all know law is specific. Why is he saying to the third and fourth generation? The entire family is affected, even children in the third and fourth generations of those who reject me. You reject the birthright, right? Now, let's see how he puts it, how this is written in other versions. There are some that are even more clear, but I just don't remember which ones they are, so I'm just going to shuffle through them. Oh, New American Standard Bible. You shall not worship them nor serve them, for I, the Most High, your power, am a jealous power, inflicting punishment of the fathers on the children. So wait a minute. The fathers are guilty of a felony, but their children receive punishment for their father's felony. Even on the third and fourth generation of those who hate me. So these bills of attainder, these bills of pain, you can see where they're coming from. You can see the justification of it coming right out of the book of the law. Okay? Now remember, these people have committed felonies in natural law. All right? Amplified Bible. You shall not worship them or serve them. You should not give them any type of respect. You shouldn't honor them. You shouldn't honor them. You shouldn't honor these contracts that delude to slavery or principles that delude to slavery. For I, the Most High, your power, and we've already discussed who the Most High, your power is. That's also going back to mental gender, specifically masculine mental energy or mental gender energy. Masculine mental gender energy is what I want to say. For I, the Most High, your power, am a jealous or am impassioned, capital G-O-D, demanding what is rightfully and uniquely mine, visiting or avenging the inequity or the sin or guilt of the fathers on the children. That is, calling the children to account for the sins of their fathers. To the third and fourth, 3 plus 4 is 7, universal completeness. To the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, those who hate natural law, those who hate their birthright. Okay, so these bills of attainder have a source in the book of the law. This is why we need to have our own book of the law. He continues, I'm going to go down. This is Christian Standard Bible. He says here, I, the Most High, your power, am a jealous power, bringing the consequences of the fathers in equity on the children, to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me. Now, those who committed felonies, those who broke the commandments, did what? They corrupted the blood of the covenant. They corrupted the blood of the covenant. Okay, this is the origins of this. Remember when Moses, in the story, Moses comes down and he sprinkles blood on the people and the covenant after they agreed again to follow the Most High's commandments. Now remember, the Most High's commandments are natural law. And that blood was grape juice from the harvest, right? Which is the same wine, which is the source of the wine that Jesus performed in his first miracle in Cana, where he turned water into wine. That is purely nature. Rain, is it the Hindu? I don't remember if it's the Hindu god of rain. Okay, this was the Father. It would rain on Mother Earth. Earth is feminine. So rain's fluid, his sperm, would be absorbed into Mother Earth, which is feminine energy. Okay? And then that would be used to turn water into wine in the fall, at the fall equinox, before September 29. Okay, that's the blood of the covenant, the wine, from the point of view that I'm talking about, okay? Now, let's continue. Here we go. Aramaic Bible in plain English. You shall not worship them, neither shall you serve them, because I am the Most High, your power, the jealous power. He pays the debt of fathers for the children to 3 and 4 generations of those who hate me. So debt, we know sin is debt. Christianity is commerce. So do y'all see it? It's not just Dr. Yasapa talking. He said debt. So debtor and creditor, commerce. Okay, y'all? Which would explain to me why they have king, K-I-N-G, in all caps. Hold on, y'all. So in the NET Bible, it says, I punish the sons of grandsons and great-grandsons for the sins of the fathers who reject me. Okay, y'all? This is the Judeo-Christian legal system. Okay, so let's look at the 10 Commandments. Exodus chapter 20, verse 9. You shall not bow down to them or worship them, for I, the Most High, your power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers. That means these fathers who have been convicted of a felony against the nation, bringing that conviction, the punishment for that conviction on their children to the 3rd and 4th generations. Okay, 3 plus 7, 3 plus 4 is 7, universal completeness. Okay, and then it says that what? These felons hate the Most High. All right, now let me go back. I just want to show you, and then we'll go back to our supplemental textbook. I want to show you where it says here debt. I forgot to show it to you. Here we are. So this is the Arabic Bible in plain English. Y'all see where it says debt? But this should not be a surprise to you if you've been following my work, because we've shown many times already that Christianity is debt. All right? Christianity rather is commerce, and sin is debt. Sin is death. Okay, so now let's go back to, so that was Jeremiah 23 verse 5. Let me see, where did we stop? Okay, so we need to go to Zechariah 9:9 and then Matthew 21:9. Hold on, y'all. Oh man, I gotta go in a second. Shoot. All right. Y'all know, you know when what you're doing is a thing you're supposed to be doing, when you have no sense of time. You know? So in that respect, I'm lucky. Matthew 21 verse 9, the crowds that went ahead of him and those, hold on, I gotta open it up. So Matthew 21:9 reads, the crowds that went ahead of him and those that followed shouted, Hosanna to the Son of David. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest heaven. Now, y'all, what's the highest heaven? If you don't look at it religiously, if you look at it as a Christian, maybe even a Hebrew Israelite, you think heaven and you think angels and God and Jesus, and you're sitting on a throne in some place outside of physical reality. But if you look at it, practically speaking, the heavens are what? The celestial bodies. Of course, we have the heavens, we have the different layers of the stratosphere, and then you go out into space. This is the abode of the heavenly bodies. Okay, y'all? So give me 1 second. So Hosanna is a Hebrew expression meaning save, which became an exclamation of praise. Also in verse 15. Well, that's already a hustle, right? Because life teaches you that ain't nobody gonna save you but yourself. Okay, and this is a bunch of hogwash. Let's see. Adrana writes, yes, making the straw man into corporations, automatic on stripping the people of their blood rights, with the mother accepting signing the birth certificate. Absolutely. So let's see, Zechariah 9:9. It's just amazing how, when you are involved in these religions and, you just don't see all of this stuff, right? Okay, so Zechariah 9 verse 9, the coming of Zion's king. Y'all know Zion means the starry heavens, right? Rejoice greatly, daughter of Zion. Rejoice greatly, daughter of the starry heavens. Shout, daughter Jerusalem. See, your king comes to you, righteous and victorious, lowly and riding a donkey on a colt. The foal of a monkey. All right. So we got that out of the way. 2, Zechariah 3:8. Quote, behold, I will bring forth my servant, the branch. End quote. In the gospel according to Mark, we find the record of the tetragrammatons, or here it says Jehovah's servant, and his service, and we hear the tetragrammaton's voice saying, quote unquote, behold, my servant. Isaiah 42, verse 1. If someone comes in, I don't care who it is, for and against. But I know, man, I can't remember her. Brandon, I can't remember your mother-in-law's name. I feel, man, it's right at the tip of my tongue too, but we haven't spoken in so many years. If your mom wants to come in here, if your mother-in-law wants to come in here and give her point of view, she's very knowledgeable on this topic, okay? And then someone come in who make the case that these verses do apply to JC, the Christ figure. And then y'all make y'all decision. Because if it does not apply to the Christ figure, well, guess what? That means this whole notion of a external Messiah, external God coming to save you is not true. at least from this point of view, y'all see what I'm saying? From this point of view, it's telling you it's not true. It's not supported astrologically. Y'all see what I mean? These authors are saying that these prophecies have their authority in the stars. So if your presentation is powerful, truthful, and then people will see that and they'll say, well, wait a minute. You know, this whole gospel thing is not told in the stars as far as this prophecy of a coming Messiah. But the reverse is true. If let's say you argue for it, if your presentation is strong, well, people will say, well, yeah, that's true. It's true. But the audience will have a lot more information to be able to make a decision. That would be really great if some people would volunteer to present their information on this topic. It would be very powerful. And y'all, you know, the videos that I'm doing, they're being shadow banned, but rest assured, at some point, sooner than later, these videos are gonna go viral. Just rest assured, they're gonna go viral. Okay, number 3, Zechariah 6 verse 12, quote unquote, thus speaketh the Most High of hosts, that's talking about the stars, y'all, in astrology or astrotheology, saying, behold, the man, capital M-A-N, whose name is the branch, capital branch. Now, I don't know if this author, I don't know why he's putting all of these in bold. Not in bold, but in capitals. I don't know what the meaning is. But I'm bringing it to your attention. But the capital letters means commerce. I mean, a loss of status and birthright, okay? In the gospel, according to Luke, we behold him, presented in, quote unquote, the man, capital M-A-N, Christ Jesus. Isaiah 4:2, quote unquote. In that day shall the branch, all capitalized, of Jehovah, all capitalized, be beautiful and glorious. Now, so y'all should know that the Tetragrammaton is the S-U-N son. So that this branch, this capital S-O-N, this capital Son, is Jehovah, the Tetragrammaton himself. It's about the Trinity, right? You've seen the Father, you've seen the Son. The man was not put into the, how does it go? The man was not, manhood was not put into the Father. No, manhood was not put into the Father, but it was put into the Son. Something like that, y'all. I forgot. But this is what he's referencing. This is what that links back to. And as we read the record of John, we hear the voice from heaven saying, quote unquote, behold your God. Isaiah 40 verse 9. This is the branch foretold by the star Al-Zamak in the ear of corn. Let's see if I can show y'all again. Dang, I wish I could remember her name. What's wrong? Why I can't remember her name? It's gonna come to me. I'm just having a brain something going on. So hold on, y'all. Let me go back to the history and find. Maybe I can just type in Spica. Hold on.
Em lên xe. Em lên xe.
Chắc điện canh tôi chứ đâu.
Để lúc em lên xe về đường á.
cho nó em ăn một phút sao
Không.
Anh điện cho cha.
Dạ.
Khổ lắm, nhắn tin này đọc không được.
đúng
Không
rồi.
điện rồi cái vậy mà mọi bạn
Okay, there it is. Y'all might have to stop and check it out. But y'all see that black box, that star there, that's Spica. Okay, that he's talking about.
Đi về rồi, đi về nhà rồi.
So this is the branch foretold by the star Alzamec in the ear of corn. Okay, so Alzamec or Spica, which is the branch foretold this coming one. Okay, the star B is called Zavijava, which means the gloriously beautiful, as in Isaiah chapter 4, verse 2. The star E in the arm, that's the arm of Virgo bearing the branch, is called Al-Mureddin, which means who shall come down, as in Psalm 72:8. Or who shall have dominion. Oh, the Christians want dominion, right? They want to rule the world. The hybrids want to rule the world. Genesis chapter 2, verse 1, 26, 27, etc. Okay? Where the Elohim, our ancestors, Yaqub and his 12 feminine scientists, these are the Elohim, plural, 13 of them total, right? Perfect rulership. Okay, 12 zodiac signs, one sun, 13. Okay, our Father who art in heaven, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Kingdom references what? Animal, which is zodiac, Zoad, right? Maserat. Rulership and have in subjection everything walking on the earth. So that would include the autochthonous Moors in Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. Okay? Now, all right, y'all? Or who shall have dominion? Yes, the denationalized, stateless persons. After you get kicked out of the promised land, and land means more than just physical or geographical territory, just earth. Okay, you would be under the punishments, the curses, Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 68. It is also known as Vindimatrix, a Chaldee word, which means the S-O-N, son or branch, who cometh. Other names of the star and the sign are Sabila, means who carries, that's Isaiah 46:4. Al-Azal, which means the branch, as in Isaiah 18:5, and Sabulan, which means a spike of corn, as in Isaiah 17:5. So corn, the Americas. Y'all do what you're gonna do with that, okay? The Greeks, ignorant of the divine origin and teaching of the sign, represented Virgo as Ceres, with ears of corn in her hand. In the Zodiac, in the temple of Dendera in Egypt and Kemet, about 2000 BC, now in Paris, so they stole it, grave robbers, she is likewise represented with a branch in her hand, but ignorantly explained by a false religion to represent Isis. Y'all hear that? So this is a hardcore Christian. So he is in disagreement. Virgo, according to this author, does not represent Isis. Her name is called Aspolia, which means ears of corn or the seed, which shows that though the woman is seen, it is her seed who is the great subject of the prophecy. Passing to the three constellations anciently assigned to the sign Virgo, we come to what may be compared to three sections of the chapter, each giving some further detail as to the interpretation of the teaching. So these three chapters, I think he's talking about the, not three chapters, these three constellations, he's talking about the deacons, Virgo's deacons. So we're going to stop right here. We're going to pick back up with Coma, the woman and the child, the desired of all nations. The centurions, yeah, this is talking about the deacons, Virgo's deacons, and then boots, okay? And then boots. And we're also going to cover that out of, so y'all, if you're able, read ahead. Now, what I found most interesting about this is that this does not talk about Virgo Scorpio. There's no Virgo Scorpio. So in its most ancient presentation of the solar zodiac projection, Virgo was actually called Virgo Scorpio. And this story, if it is ancient, where's the discussion about Virgo? About Scorpio. What's Scorpio's link to this topic? See, the sign Virgo, the promised seed of the woman. But it was before the fall of man, it was Virgo Scorpio. So where's the contribution of Scorpio? That's what I'm saying. That's very problematic. Very, very problematic. So to me, it suggests editing. It suggests editing because there's no discussion on Scorpio. On Scorpio, right, y'all? Virgo, Scorpio. At the fall of man, Libra was inserted between Virgo and Scorpio, so that it's Virgo, Libra, Scorpio. So it suggests editing or lies, deceit. Or this is not ancient at all. And there's more to it that we don't know. Now, I'm just using my analytical mind, analytical thinking. Maybe I'm wrong. But I have not read anything about Scorpio. And the constellation was initially Virgo Scorpio. That means before the fall of man, Scorpio should be involved in this story. Right? If this story existed from, like they say, from the beginning, if it told the story of the coming one from the beginning, well, Scorpio should make some kind of contribution to the story, or there should be a rational reason why Scorpio is not included in the story. I hope y'all heard me. Islam to all the Moors. Y'all think about that too. Think about that. Where is Scorpio? Where's Scorpio's contribution to the story of the coming one? And since it's not in the story, where's the explanation, the reason, the rationale why Scorpio is not included in the story? If in fact, this story is ancient and was from the beginning. From the beginning told the story of the coming one. All right, y'all think about that. Islam to all the Moors. Assalamu alaikum. I, self-law, and master. I have another meeting I have to go to, y'all. So I see y'all on the next one. Islam.